If I can forgive the mistakes my son makes, why isn't God capable to do the same? Let's talk about it on today's Modern Day Parable with Pastor Paul. So, an adult child came home one day to see his dad packing up some old baseball gear to give away. Tears in the dad's eye, and son looked at the equipment and says, "Dad, do you remember that day I made the big error in the big game against our rival?" The dad looked at the glove and said, "No, I don't remember that. I do remember driving to that game, though, with you, and how much I enjoyed being with you in that important moment in your life. But, but Dad, I made the mistake that cost us that game. It still bothers me to today," said the son. The dad says, "I just remember when you guys were warming up for that game, you were dancing to the music and having fun with your friends. And I just thought it was amazing. I just loved your joy of life at that moment." "Yeah," said the son, "but boy, if I hadn't made that error, we would have won the game. I really let my teammates down at that moment, and I thought you'd be disappointed." The dad looked at the glove and says, "You know what I remember is we went to have Mexican food after the game with some of your friends and their families, and it was no time before the game was forgotten and you guys were just having fun sitting at the table, and that made it all worth it. Even the mistake was worth it for that moment." The son looked at his dad and said, "So you do remember the error?" And the dad looked at his son again with more tears in his eyes, and he says, "Why would I care about the error, son, when life around it was so delicious? I choose to remember the moments we shared that were beautiful rather than the one that came up short." When I think about that story as a pastor and as a dad, it makes me emotional. At the end of my son's baseball career, and as we're giving his equipment away, I can't help but remember the incredible moments. And yes, there were painful ones when he failed and didn't live up to our hopes of what would happen in a game. But when it's all said and done, who cares? What matters were the snow cones and orange slices and juice boxes after the game. What matters were the friendships of the boys and girls playing together. What matters is the development of character that happened for my son, and yes, for me, in the midst of all of that. Why would I worry that a 12-year-old baseball game was lost because of a mistake my son made, when the life that got us to that point, the risk of failure that was so beautiful to watch in action with the hope of success, was so worth it? And when I think about how I feel about that as a father, it makes me wonder about the Christian theology of hell. Why is it that I, as a father, can forget the errors my son makes and love the life we have together? But the God of heaven, the creator of the universe, he can't do the same. He has to focus on the error and demand an apology for that, or else. And not only is the or else he won't forget the sin, the or else is he will throw the child into a fiery pit of hell for all of eternity and stoke the flames forevermore. What kind of a good father would even imagine such a thing? And the Bible says, if I, as an earthly father, desire to give my children good things and good gifts, to give them an egg rather than a snake and good gifts rather than a stone, how much more will God in heaven do for his children? If you're a Christian and believe that you can overlook your kids' errors to enjoy life with them, but God cannot, your God is too small. Your God is man-made. Your God is an idol of a man-made religion, not the divine spirit over the universe. Think about it. That's my modern day parable today with Pastor Paul.